folk, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought Series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why y'all black asses are here. Well, today, this is one of the T.P.O.T investigates. And I heard about this story about this young lady named Shanquella Robinson. Now, she is from the Queen City, and that's where I live, all right? I live in the Queen City. And this story caught my attention. I mean, I've been reading about it for the past couple of days, but so much has played out in this story that I had to do it. I was talking to my wife about it, earlier, and I said I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do something on it because I think it's somewhat tragic, man, from the videos that I've heard, the stories that I've read, the pictures I've seen. I mean, this is a tragic story, and I figure I would go ahead and just do a quick one on it and do a little bit of talking about it and see where it goes, and hopefully they find out who did this to this girl. But tonight on T.P.O.T Investigates, we ask the question, who killed Shanquella Robinson? Let's get at it. Okay, this is where we are. By now, I'm pretty sure everybody has heard about the Shanquella Robinson story. The 25-year-old woman, she went to Mexico with a few people, one who allegedly was her friend, and 5 others. She went there, she ended up dead. Now, there's a lot of twists and turns in this story. That's why T.P.O.T is covering it. And not only that, she's local, okay? She's from this city. She's from this neck of the woods. They had her funeral today. And, her funeral was about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, all right, from where I live at. But notwithstanding that, I just think that this was a very, very tragic story. And it put me in mind of a story that I did a long time ago when T.P.O.T first started. So I had to do this. This is going to be a quick one, but we're going to talk about this. Now, what you're looking at now is a post from someone that was actually reposted, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna read it. Let's get at it. It says here, this is reposted from a young lady. I watched a live interview, and there's also a second video that the mother of Dejanay Jackson supposedly released to prove her daughter was not the only one fighting Quella. Now, those of you who have seen the video, because I'm not going to play the video. I mean, the video is graphic. The girl is naked, and it's not even worth it. It's not even worth showing all of that, because by now, all of you have probably seen it. And those of you who haven't, all you got to do is, type in her name and it'll come up. Trust me. But we continue. I watched tonight live interview between Gerald Jackson from the North Carolina Beat, who we're going to be looking at that later on as well, so put a pin in that, and Shanquella's father, Bernard Robinson. Below are key takeaways from the interview. The father stated that Shanquella went to Mexico with friends she went to school with back from Winston-Salem. I believe that's where she went to college. Shanquella flew to Mexico City October 28th. On Friday, October 28th, Shanquella told her mother that she and the group were drinking, eating tacos. A chef came to the house to cook for them. She told her mother she would call her the next day. On Saturday, October 29th, Shaquilla's best friend Khalil Cook, called the mother and told her that Shanquella was sick, throwing up, not feeling well. He said had took a shower and laid back down. Khalil told the mother that they paid $150 for a doctor to come to the house. Now, Khalil Cook told the mother that the doctor tried to put an IV in Shanquella's arm, but it popped out and she went into a seizure. Now, the father in the interview stated that one of them in the house told the mother that she needed to wire $5,000 so Shanquella could go to the hospital. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to all this stuff that I'm saying, because it's all going to lead to something, all right? Now, Saturday, October 29th, that was the day after she got there, around 7 or 8 p.m., the mother called the father to inform him that Shanquella had died of alcohol poisoning in Mexico. The father stated that he was told that Shanquella was found dead at 3 p.m. The father called the embassy and they gave him the runaround. The father and his brother, Shanquella's uncle, Googled several funeral homes in Cabo, Mexico, because that's where they were, to locate Shanquella's body. After calling multiple funeral homes, he was able to find the funeral home that had her body. The father calls one of the funeral home workers he spoke to an angel who promised to stick with him until Shanquella's body was returned. Shanquella was eventually transported to a funeral home in the U.S. The father was at the funeral home when Shanquella's body was brought in. He witnessed a knot on her head, her eye was swollen, and she had a cut lip. The father was emotional during this interview, understandably so. His baby girl had been killed. He stated that Shanquella is not a fighter. The father revealed that while in Mexico, someone from the group called the U.S. in a panic asking what to do. When they returned from Mexico, Khalil Cook brought Winter Donovan, someone else who was there, Dejanay Jackson, to the mother's house where they sat, talked to the family, and ate food. They told the mother that there was not an altercation and that Shanquella had died of alcohol poisoning, right? So let me jump ahead just a bit. This dude, Khalil Cook, allegedly is one of these girls' close friends. Allegedly, right? Keep that in mind. They're at the mother's house. Him, Winter Donovan, and Dejanay Jackson. And yeah, I'm saying they damn names. They were at the mother's house, telling the mother that the girl had died of alcohol poisoning, right? Now, mind you, they came back from Mexico. Her body is still there at this time. But we continue. Khalil Cook stopped by the mother's house several times after arriving back from Mexico. But after the autopsy came out and it was revealed that Shanquella was beaten, Khalil went off the radar and they have not heard from him since. Now, listen to that. Listen to that. He's at the house with these two other broads. He's back and forth to the house multiple times after they get back from Mexico. But soon as the autopsies revealed what she really died from, now he's invisible because he hasn't been seen since. We continue. None of the parents of the friend group have contacted Shanquella's parents. Of course not. The father asked during the interview, "Why are you hiding? Tell the truth." The FBI is currently involved. All of the assailants' passports have been revoked, so they can't flee the country. So that means the feds is on their ass because they want to know what's going on, just in case they try to bounce back to Mexico or something like that. It says here that Shanquella was yanked out of her bed while she was asleep, which explains her having no clothes on. Okay? Now, as reported on the North Carolina beat, allegations have spread that there's a second part to the video that everyone's seen that's explicit, showing another friend, Winter, slamming Miss Robinson's neck on the ground. My question is, A, you guys have been to Mexico before, but just with a different set of friends, who I will not list as they are not involved in this case. but was inviting Shanquella Robinson intentional. There's no signs of friendship prior to this situation happening outside of her and Malik being best friends and her and Winter being close friends. Now, on Khalil's behalf, you knew Shanquella since 2014. Being that you were her only friend, I'm assuming you invited her on the trip, and as mentioned, the entire crew knew each other before, including Khalil, but have no history with Shanquella. Let me say that again. They knew the so-called friend, Khalil, but didn't have a history with Shanquella. So basically, those people, they didn't even really know this girl. Now, what it says here, it asks the question, was it a genuine setup? And they mentioned that this brother Khalil Cook requested a PPP loan for $20,000. And as we see, the clothing line, I guess he was trying to start, is not doing well. But being that he could steal money from the government, I'm starting to question his motives with Shanquella. I don't know if that really connects, but okay. It was stated that she financially contributed most of the money to the vacation as well. Now, let's put this in some context as I scroll down and show you some of these folks. From what I understand, this young lady was very successful, okay? She was doing well for herself financially. A lot of people know her in the Queen City. A lot of people in the Queen City have been talking about this case. Like I said, I live near the Queen City, all right? I live on the edge of the Queen City. So a lot of people know who this woman is. And she was very successful. And everybody is saying that she was the one who fronted most of the money for this trip. Now, what you're looking at now is a cast of characters, all right? And everybody's up here except the sixth person who you will see in a minute. But this is an update, all right? Because in the video, she was fighting someone named Dejanay Jackson. But it's my understanding that all the girls eventually fought her at some point. Why, I do not know. But the first girl up top on the left, her name is Winter Donovan. She's the girl who fought her the second. And allegedly, she body slammed her, okay, on her neck. Allegedly. Below her is Dejanay Jackson. That's the girl who was fighting her in the video that's going viral right now that everybody has seen. And she also claimed that Shakila jumped her as well. Beneath her, on the bottom left-hand corner, is someone named Elise Hyatt. Now, this is the girl who leaked the video, but also fought her. Her reason for leaking the video is because she claims she was scared. To the right, top right, Malik Dyer, the guy telling her to at least fight back in that video. Because if you saw that video, you could tell that there were two people there besides her and her assailant, because you can clearly see a shoulder in the video, which lets you know that there were two people there, standing there, while one person was filming, because it's impossible to film an event and film your own shoulder, right? Therefore, there were two people there. One of them, this dude Malik Dyer, and her so-called friend Khalil Cook, her so-called best friend that was there in the video and didn't do anything. Now, if you saw this video, it was quite graphic. Like I said, I'm not even going to show it, all right? I don't think it's necessary to show it because, like I said, everybody's seen it by now. But you can hear one of those guys saying, fight back. Now, that guy, I don't know what his relationship was with this young lady. I have no idea. But the dude in the bottom right, Khalil Cook, is supposedly this girl's friend. And it appears that he was in the room as well. So if this person is your so-called best friend, why would you stand there and watch her be beaten like that if she's your friend? Now, this is coming from a guy, I mean, I believe in letting women fight it out, all right? Especially women that I don't know. But if it's a woman that I know, a woman that I call friend, I don't think I would just sit there and watch her be pummeled. And I definitely wouldn't have left, and we 2,000 miles away, all right, from home. I wouldn't have left from there knowing that she's died there, been killed there, or sick there. So that is suspect, all right? Now, no one's heard anything from these people. I know one person, I'm not sure which one, but one of these girls, it's been reported that she came on social media and said she will do an interview when she gets 10K, which to me is weird. You know, you got all these people who are saying these things on social media, but no one's telling what really happened. Because remember, they came back from Mexico and told that woman's mother that this girl had died of alcohol poisoning. And come to find out, when she got here, that girl had a broken neck and a fractured spine. Somebody did something to that girl over there. And now everybody's scrambling. Everybody's scrambling. But let's continue, because I want to go to one more thing. Like I said, this ain't going to be long, y'all, but I want to go to this, all right? Now, what you're looking at now is a photo of Shanquella Robinson. And of course, to her left is her so-called best friend at the top left corner, this brother named Khalil. And to the right are, I believe the first one is Miss Winton. And below her is Miss Jackson. The other girl, Elise. And then there's the brother we saw, Mr. Dyer. But below that is another dude. And I believe his name, well, we'll get to him. We'll get to him later. But you see all the people who were actually there with her on this trip. Now, mind you, to the left of your screen is her so-called best friend who was in the room with her and did nothing as she was pummeled by this girl here, second from the top here. All right. Well, let's go down a bit. And it says here, it says a successful, and this is from, my bad, this is actually from the NC Beat. And what the NC Beat is, it's like an online news program. They do a lot of stuff. You know, they talk about things that go on in North Carolina. I don't really follow them like that, but I know who they are. They're pretty well established. They've been around a few years, so, you know, they're pretty reliable. All right. But we continue. It says here, successful Charlotte, North Carolina businesswoman, talking about Miss Shanquella Robinson, who went on a trip to Mexico with her best friend and 5 other people, is dead. And her best friend of more than 5 years, Khalil Cook, is lying about what happened to her. Now let that sink in. Does that even make sense? Her best friend of more than 5 years is lying about what happened to her. But if you look at the top of the article says, friends lie about what caused Charlotte, North Carolina businesswoman Shanquella Robinson's death in Mexico. Because remember, I told y'all, this young lady was quite successful here. All right? She was quite successful in this city. But we continue. On Friday, October 28th, 2022, 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson, her best friend Khalil Cook, and 5 others named Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, Dejanay Jackson, and Nazia Wiggins went to Cabo, Mexico. The North Carolina Beat obtained the photos of everyone on the Mexico trip below. There's her so-called best friend, right? Mr. Khalil Cook. The other dude who was in there, Mr. Malik Patrick Dyer, all right? Like I said, this guy and this guy allegedly were in the room with her as she was being pummeled on that video that you see. And I believe one of them was holding the camera. One of them. I don't know who. I don't want to say who, but one of these dudes was holding the camera as she was getting beat to death. All right? Now, this girl here, Miss Winter Donovan. Allegedly, this girl is the girl who slammed her on her neck. Allegedly. This girl here, that's Elise Michelle Hyatt. I believe she's the one who leaked the video. I believe one of them leaked the video because, you know, Negroes are so stupid that, you know, they'll take their damn crimes. They don't got enough sense to even do crime right. And I guess they shared it with one another, and somebody got scared and let it get out to the internet. Now this girl here, this is Dejanay Jackson. This is the girl that you see in the video fighting her. All right. So she is definitely going to want to be questioned. And it's just a matter of time before they roll on each other, man. You know, they're gonna try to save their own ass. It's not going to be about what happened to Shanquella Robinson. It's going to be about them trying to save their own ass. All right. And then we have this guy. This guy is Nazir Vincent Wiggins. Now, he's taken to the internet avenues as well, talking about this. He claims he didn't show up there till the following day. I'm going to try to get in contact with this guy. I'm going to see if I can get him to come on and talk about it, because he seems like he's willing to talk. And he says when he got there, it was a day later. Allegedly, he showed his itinerary, and, you know, I think his story tracks. He didn't show up till a day later. He didn't know what was going on there or what the problem was there, according to him. All right? So these are the people that was there with her. But let's continue reading. It says the next day, October 29th, 2022, Shanquella Robinson's mother, Salamandra Robinson, said they received a phone call from Khalil about Shanquella resting and not feeling good, and that she had puked a couple of times. She said they felt at ease because they figured Shanquella was dealing with a hangover. Come to find out, that was not the case at all. Of course it wasn't. After he told me that she was resting and not feeling good and that she had thrown up, I told him to just call us and keep us informed on how she was doing, her mother said. Khalil called again and told Salamandra that the ambulance was at their villa. He told me that they were about 3 ambulances there and they were trying to resuscitate Shanquella. Salamandra said that Khalil then put them on hold and they were confused because he had just spoken to them and said they thought Shanquella was fine, just lying down and resting because she wasn't feeling good. So her mother was like, what's going on now? When Khalil returned to the line, he told Salamandra that Shanquella had alcohol poisoning. However, Salamandra said she was a little calm because she trusted Khalil and believed what he was telling her. Of course she believed him because he was allegedly the best friend. He came back and told us it was alcohol poisoning, her mother said. We were more calm, I guess, because we trust him and we kind of believe what he was telling us. Of course they did. Unfortunately, medics could not save Shanquella. Khalil and the 5 others had to hurry and get out of Mexico to escape being caught up in legal troubles, so they returned to U.S. a day later. Now, mind you, when they left, she was dead. Her body still in Mexico. They're all down there together. Now remember, I read y'all the story earlier that most of those people that were there, she didn't even really have a relationship with those people. She didn't. She had a relationship with the brother. And I think she knew the other brother too. Nazir. I think she knew him. All right. And I think the girl Winter, she was familiar with her, but the other people, I don't think she was that familiar with. All right. But we continue. He brought her luggage to my house when he got back, and he just kept saying she died from alcohol poisoning, Salamandra said. At that point, I just said I was going to wait for the autopsy to come back. Khalil kept coming around the family, trying to make it seem like he was innocent and didn't know what had happened to Shanquella. He kept coming around the house every day. His mom is with him, Salamandra said. Now remember, I told y'all before when we read the other story earlier, he was coming around all the time until the autopsy report and the video surfaced. And the reason why this Negro kept coming around, because he was trying to find out what her mom knew. Because you know Negroes are stupid. They can't do nothing right. All right? They screw up and then turn around and screw up the screw up, trying to cover it up, because they don't even know how to do that. But we continue. Shanquella's sister, Killalong, says something was eating Khalil up inside, obviously, because he knew what had went on there. But it continues. Now that stuff done happened, I can go back and say that's why he was pacing. I mean, you would have to thought he was coming off something, like he was high. He was nervous. He was sweating, grabbing his beard, Long said. It had been eating him up then. I'm sure it had. When Khalil came back over to Salamandra's house, he brought Winter Donovan and Dejanay Jackson, two of the three girls that were with them in Mexico. Donovan and Jackson told Salamandra and her family the same story Khalil told them. Shanquella died from alcohol poisoning. Quilla Long said that her family had gotten phone calls that they were over there fighting and jumped Shanquella, Long said. She asked the girls if that was true, and they told her it wasn't true, which was a goddamn lie because we've seen it on the video. But when we're talking about broads, right, that's usually the default, right? They can be caught dead to rights. And what are they going to do? Tell a damn lie. Dead to rights, still lie. It's crazy. We know, we see it on YouTube. Somebody can say something, and 3 minutes later you say, well, you just said this. They'd be like, no, I didn't. That's the default setting, is to lie, especially when you're caught dead to rights. But we continue. By the time Khalil brought the girls over to the mama's house, we had started receiving phone calls that they were over there fighting and jumped my sister, Long said. We asked them if that was true, and they said no, and that there was no fighting at all, which we now know was a damn lie. Salamandra said that she and her family stayed calm and trusted Khalil, and he was sticking with his story that her daughter had died from alcohol poisoning. Days after that, the autopsy came in, and that told the whole story, her mother said. Shanquella's autopsy revealed that her death was not related to alcohol at all. Instead, it showed that she had a broken neck and a cracked spine and was beaten. Salamandra said that she and her family received photos of Shanquella in which her face was swollen. She had a knot on her head, her eyes were swollen, and her lips were split. The U.S. Department officials in Mexico reportedly denied that Shanquella's death was a murder, citing the police investigation did not reveal any signs of foul play. That's because they're incompetent idiots. Obviously, I saw those pictures of that girl. I mean, she was beaten badly. Her eye was slit, her nose was busted, and her lips were swollen. I saw the photo. I don't know what the hell they saw. But we continue. I'm confused about how the Mexican police did not find signs of foul play when everyone on the trip told Mexico police that Shanquella died from alcohol poisoning initially. But the autopsy revealed that they were all lying and that she was beaten. So how is that not foul play? Exactly. Khalil Cook, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, Dejanay Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins all should be in Mexico's jail right now for the murder of Shanquella Robinson, according to The Beat. Most of them have gone into hiding because they know what happened to Shanquella and are lying about it. Yes, everyone's lying. Of course they're lying. Because someone over there did something to that girl. And everybody knows it. But hiding isn't going to do them any good. What good is it going to do you? Especially if they're still hiding here in the Queen City, which is probably what these foolish Negroes are doing. They're probably right here in somebody's cellar, thinking it's just going to blow over. Newsflash, Negroes. This is not going to blow over. It's getting too much coverage. It's in the news. Brothers are covering it on the net. This isn't going to blow over. You will be flushed out. Because see, I find it insane that many of these people who are over there with this girl weren't even like, they weren't even like cool with her like that. They really weren't. And from what I understand, she financed most of the trip. She gets over there. She gets into these fights. One that we know for sure because we've seen the video. What was all that for? What was it about? Now, people allege that it was some kind of setup. And I guess it kind of appears that it does, being that only one person was like, quote unquote, her friend, and the other people weren't. But I think it's some of the most cowardly shit on earth to draw somebody all the way to Mexico just to beat them so bad that you kill them or hurt them. You get them all the way there to do that. And what I also think is very cowardly is that these two dudes stood in that room and watched that girl get beat. That much we know. We saw that for ourselves. Especially when one of those dudes that was in that room claimed to be her friend. And all you could hear was somebody saying, "Oh, fight back, do something." Because as the story goes, she was dragged out of bed. Because if you saw that video, that girl was nude. She didn't have any clothes on. So I'm prone to believe that maybe she was dragged out of bed or had just walked out of the shower or something, because she didn't have a stitch of clothing on. And she wasn't fighting back. She wasn't fighting back. So what was it all about? What was that fight over? Why were they fighting her? And allegedly, all of those girls over there were fighting her. As far as we know, those dudes might have had something to do with it too. We don't know. Why were they fighting her? Which one of them killed her? Who landed the death blow? Were they all involved? Was one person involved? Is there another videotape out there? We don't know. But what we do know is that we saw her getting assaulted. That wasn't a fight. That was somebody being assaulted, attacked. While these two Negroes stood there and watched it and filmed it and did nothing. because they're cowards too, unless they were in on it.
Think about this.
They're either gutless cowards and or they were in on it. That's what I think. That's what I believe. Either way, all these people know more than what they're saying. The simple fact that they would come back home and lie, go to that woman's mother's house and sit in her house, break bread with her, and tell a bold-faced lie. There were no fights. She was just sick. She died of alcohol poisoning. But once that autopsy surfaces and this video gets leaked, now everybody has disappeared faster than a drop of water on a sidewalk in the middle of August. Now, I don't know what happened to this young lady over there. But what I do know is that all these Negroes that we've been talking about had something to do with it. I know that. But we continue. Ladies and gentlemen, Shanquella Robinson did not die from alcohol poisoning. So why would Khalil Cook lie to his best friend's mother and family like this when he and Shanquella have been friends for years? Exactly. Also, why would he just stand there while she was pummeled in her freaking hotel room while she was butt naked and allegedly just dragged out of the bed? Why would he do that? But we continue. And have even gone on family trips when Shanquella's family. Sick as fuck. Salamandra says she wants something done about what happened to her daughter. I want justice for my daughter, Salamandra said. Shanquella's sister, Keela Long, told the North Carolina Beat that she didn't think Khalil was dirty as he is. I wouldn't have thought that Khalil would be as dirty as he is, Long said. He's a dirty motherfucker. And if I had known what I know now, I would have gone to his ass and the girl's ass in my house. In an emotional phone call with the North Carolina Beat, Shanquella's father, Bernard Robinson, said his daughter was left for dead. She was. They left her there, man. An emotional Bernard said, they left my daughter over there. I can't believe it. Bernard said he could not believe that Shanquella's best friend Khalil, who invited her on the trip, would leave her. Of course he did, because he either had something to do with it and or knows a lot about what happened. He was the reason why she was there. He was the reason why she was there. How can you leave my daughter and she's supposedly your best friend, Bernard said. How could you do this to us? According to Bernard, Khalil didn't even give him any condolences. He only reached out to Shanquella's mom and sister, Bernard said. He never gave me any condolences, and if he had any remorse or something, he would have done that. No, because he didn't have the guts to stand in front of you, brother, and lie. It's hard for a man to lie to another man about this kind of shit. You're that girl's father. He knew you would have asked questions, and he knew he would have got caught up and maybe got knocked out or shot or got his neck broken. Of course he didn't want to talk to you. You're a man. He didn't want to stand in front of a man and tell those lies because he knew you would have had questions about what happened to your daughter. But it continues. Bernard said he's 100% certain that Khalil Cook knows what happened to his only daughter. Of course he does, brother. He knows what happened. Bernard repeated. Shanquella was known by hundreds of people and loved by hundreds of people. The North Carolina beat will continue to stand with and beside the Robinson family and help them get justice for Shanquella Robinson. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just insane, man. It is insane. It is truly, truly insane. And you know there's going to be more to this story. Well, that's about it, folks. Like I said, I didn't want this to be too long. I just wanted to bring it to y'all. Like I said, I figured I would, throw my input on it, being that it's a local story. And they just buried the young lady today, as a matter of fact. And it's a tragic story, man. It's tragic. It's tragic. But a lot of times when you get these ridiculous Negroes involved, it's tragic, right? I mean, like I said, a young, promising person with a lot going for themselves gets herself caught up with these no-account nobodies, and she ends up dead. But that's always the case, though, when you get around these type of Negroes. You get around these type of Negroes, you either end up dead or end up having to kill someone.
Think about this.
I just think it's horrible, man. It's a real life tragedy. And all these Negroes are just a lying, boy. They just a lying. Because, see, they think they're going to get away with it. Negroes are so stupid that they think they can actually get away with something like this. Yeah. That's why they left and came back to America. Left her over there dead. All right. Probably got all their stories straight before they left. Had the gall to go to this girl's mother's house, sit with them and lie to her family, and kept lying. Lied about the fights, lied about her being sick, lied about the alcohol poisoning. And this dude, who we're kind of focusing on, this dude, Khalil Cook, allegedly her best friend has known her for years, familiar with her family. He comes and lies over and over and over and over. He's back and forth to these people's house multiple times. Until the autopsy. Until the video. And now, nothing. You know why they haven't seen him, right? Because he know his ass has been caught up in some lies. And he know everything that these other chicks said when he brought them over there was nothing but lies. They were literally trying to cover their tracks. And did a poor job of it. These Negroes didn't even have the brains to stay the hell away from that woman's mother's house. They didn't even have the brains to do that. Nope. We're going to go to her mom's house and make up a story. Yeah, that'll work. These Negroes are idiots. They were idiots. And they probably all were losers. She probably was the only one that was a winner. Because like I said, from what I understand, she paid the bulk of the trip. Bunch of broke-ass people. Taking advantage of somebody. And possibly killing them. The question is why? Not just who, but why? What went on there in that one day? She was only there a day. What went on in that 24 hours to make you fight her, to make you lie to her people, to make you leave her there, to make you come back to America and tell all these different stories and look her damn mama in the face, just tell black, bold ass lies. Why? I guess, well, we will get to the answer of those questions once we find out who killed Shanquella Robinson. But that's all. I want to thank everybody, man, for spending some time here with us, man. You could have spent your time anywhere. You decided to spend it here with us, and it is appreciated. I don't take you good folks lightly, man. I never have. I never will. You got my word on that. And thanks for coming through, man, for another T.P.O.T. Investigates. We're going to stay on top of this story, man. It's local. I'll be bringing you updates whenever I can, whenever I have time. We're gonna grab onto this, man, and hopefully I'll get to talk to some of the people who are connected to it. I mean, you know, T.P.O.T, we got quite a reach, man. So keep your eyes peeled, man, for you know, some updates and maybe an interview or two. All right. So with that, I will leave you good folk with 3 words, you know, like I always do. Open your mind. Peace, folk. Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your minds.